That kind of nerd. Let's start the show with comics, movies, and technology. Here we go, bringing you the segments that you're looking for, like Cape Talk, Screen to Stream, Tech Perspective, and more. Cast this nerd degree and the blockbuster. Welcome to the club, cause you're that kind of nerd.
Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, the show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Joshua Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
I'm just listening to some Taylor Swift. I'm sorry.
T-Swizzle.
It's being pumped loudly through my house currently.
Oh, by choice? Like, what's the...
No. Not by choice. Come on.
What? She's a pretty good songwriter.
I think she's a fantastic songwriter.
Yeah,
she is a songwriter. Yeah.
No, she's a good songwriter.
Yeah, she definitely writes her own songs.
No,
I'm agreeing with you.
No, see.
I am agreeing with you that she writes her songs.
What I'm saying is that she's a good songwriter, and you're saying that she writes songs. That's two different things.
Oh, okay. I understand now. Gotcha. So let's do something that we haven't done in a while. Let's break down what's going on in the nerdy world. And I think it's only fitting that we start with Brian Thornton's favorite topic, where we look at the world of comics, see what's affecting TV, see what's affecting movies, but most of all, how is it affecting Brian? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk. I'm surprised there's not one topic in this list already.
There should be a slew.
No, I'm surprised there's not a specific one that I screenshot to you and said, oh my God, am I going to have to talk about this bullshit again?
Oh. Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm fine with it. I don't want to talk about this bullshit.
Wait, hold on. Here, I'll say this. Let's start off with the bullshit thing and just get out of the way. Zack Snyder released a couple pieces of footage of the Snyder Cut, and people are like, yay, fuck the Snyder Cut. All right, moving on. Spotify has inked a deal with Warner Brothers to try to bring DC Comics to its platform. So, as you know, there's probably a couple Marvel podcasts that are floating out. There's one about...
Wait. Reread that headline, because it's a DC Comics universe, so it's just going to be radio shows just like Marvel does.
I was literally just about to say that.
Okay, well, I just said it for you. You're welcome. But you didn't read the headline correctly.
How did I read the headline?
You removed the word universe. It brings a very different meaning when you just say brings DC Comics to its platform. That implies it actually is bringing the comics to its platform.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying, hey, you're going to take away my DC Universe thing. So, not anymore. Am I stuck behind a paywall on this goddamn article? I read it earlier.
Sure are.
Oh, dear God.
It's just going to be radio plays, which I love a good radio play.
No doubt. You've actually probably heard of the Marvel podcast, The Wolverine.
Isn't that a pay-to-play thing, too?
It was, but now it is not, right?
Oh, okay. I should listen to that, then.
Yeah, so here's the deal. The company didn't give out any specifics. However, brands may soon be able to basically advertise, because that's what Spotify is trying to do, exclusive content, about Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And basically, we're expecting some audio stories, podcasts that are focused on the DC Comics universe, Brian. To kind of help you out there. So as we continue to see explosive growth in podcasting around the world, we're thrilled to partner with Warner Brothers to build this slate of programming to drawn from the worlds of the DC and the WB. So Spotify is getting big in the podcast world. It's just happening. All right. And Marvel's already throwing their hat into the ring, and now they're going to do it, but it's going to be exclusive to Spotify.
Okay. First and foremost, not enough for me to go to Spotify.
Nope.
Secondly, Josh, did you say meh?
I did, only because...
Is your meh to Spotify?
No, my meh's to podcasts.
Oh, you are on a podcast!
Yeah, but we're fun. And for the most part, when I listen to a podcast, I'm not having a lot of fun. This is fun. Most other podcasts, not so much.
So if you're telling me they got very well-known celebrities to voice Batman and the Joker, you get Mark Hamill to do that, you're not listening to the audio
Are you going
play?
to get Mark Hamill? Are you
Spotify has the money
to
do that. Spotify has the money to do that, yes.
Yeah, it's not enough for me to get Spotify.
Again, here's the best part. With all of Spotify's exclusive content, right, including the Joe Rogan podcast now, you don't have to have Spotify. You can use the free tier and listen to these programs. It's not behind an actual paywall.
Yeah, if it were the actual voices of Batman, the animated Batman,
Sure.
I would be interested. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but okay.
I can imagine
My
them.
thing is this.
Go ahead.
I remember, I mean, maybe this is the 80-year-old man showing in me, but I used to listen to old cassette tapes of the old radio shows like Green Hornet and The Shadow. I used to listen to those things with my dad. So I'm all for radio shows about DC Comics and Marvel Comics. Like when they did the Wolverine, I was all for it, but then there was like, oh, you have to pay, and I was like, I'm not that for it. But now, like, hey, if I can get that shit for free,
Yeah.
absolutely, I'll listen to some of it.
So Marvel's Wolverine is actually a pretty big hit, right? And we even talked about, or there was on the docket, but I don't think we ever talked about the fact that there are a couple of people who are slated to start bringing some of these comic book radio shows, to the podcasting world. It's a medium that really suits it. We don't have a whole lot going on, so it's definitely time to go ahead and get that stuff going. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested. The Spotify app is terrible for podcasts. So, yeah. I mean, if I have to listen to it on the Spotify app, I'll give it a try, but it's going to be rough to kind of go ahead and do that. So I'm still on board. I think it would be cool to see some of these programs kind of come to life and bring back the radio shows that the 80-year-old Brian Thornton, used to listen to.
What I think is cool is coming back around, and you guys just keep making fun of me for it. But you know what? Whatever. I have the last laugh. I have more cool shit.
How about this, Brian? This is something I kind of thought was pretty interesting. So if you're literally following the world of comics, physical comics, we know that 2020 has been a very interesting year for it. The pandemic has postponed Free Comic Book Day. And Marvel and DC are obviously the two biggest publishers of comics, and they work through a common distributor called Diamond Comic Book Distributors. And the last several months, they stopped shipping to that distributor because of COVID and all the sales that are going with it. Apparently, now that things are starting to settle and comics are starting to ship again, DC has made a huge announcement that they are permanently cutting ties with Diamond distributors. So, Brian, that is a huge deal, right? I can see that it's a huge deal, but I don't fully understand why that's a huge deal. Can you explain this to me a little bit?
I mean, because for the entire time I have been collecting comic books, which has been well over 20 years now, you got a book that was for every month you would get this giant, thick, like almost phone book looking thing. And it was the Diamond preview book. And in there was everything that was coming out in the next like 2 or 3 months. And every comic book store grabbed this book and used this, and everybody ordered through this company. And it wasn't just comic books. It was the trades. It was statues, toys, apparel. They did everything for an entire, it's big as a publisher as DC is, to pull all of their stuff, including the apparel and stuff. That is a huge chunk of their business. And let's be honest, if DC does it, Marvel's going to, and finds any sort of success, Marvel's going to do it too.
The big thing is, before appearing in that monthly catalog, a book had to have at least $2,500 worth of orders.
Mm-hmm.
So fans would never see it if it was a real dark horse kind of deal. Without, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't see it, like, unless it was already somewhat popular.
Yeah, it was really hard to get smaller indie things through that distributor. A lot of indie comics self-distributed and then like beg, borrowed, and stole to get on, small shop shelves and things like that. It's just, this is going to screw around the entire process.
So it sounds like they're going to go their own way, right? This is kind of like for the movie analogy, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Brian. So I may be talking completely out of my ass here. This is the studios bypassing the theaters and just directly releasing to the customers, right?
Yes.
This is
but Marvel's still using Diamond,
right? But
they
to
won't
Brian's
for long.
point,
right? Well, that's the thing.
If DC sees any of this, so here's my other question, Brian. Knowing that you actually worked in this industry
here's
as well,
my thing.
Will this benefit the retailers and the comic book stores?
Are they publicly traded?
It might.
Going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead. You had a different point. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, but that was my question. My thought is it could. Let's put it this way: just like a movie studio bypassing the theaters and giving it directly to the customers. On paper, I technically cut out the middleman. I should be able to sell my product cheaper.
Right.
I shouldn't have to sell a book for $4 to $5. I could probably go back to $2.50, which, if that's the case, that is a huge deal for collectors, because I'll tell you right now, I started collecting mid-90s. Books were $1 to $1.25, $1.50 at the most.
Wow.
As I continue to, go into comic book stores, books are now $4 to $5 a piece. That is almost triple. Actually, it is triple what they were when I first started collecting. Now, there's been a lot of changes then, like the paper has become more high quality. There's been, a lot of things that have contributed to that price hike.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to go back down to $1. But part of the fact is that if I have to ship them to this guy, to a distributor, that distributor needs to take a cut. So that's why these books are $4 and $5 on top of all the other changes with high quality paper and things like that. If I cut that person out, I feasibly should be able to sell my product cheaper. And if that's what they can do, then it is a huge thing for the fans, because DC still gets the same amount of money either way. Because they were going to, if one book costs $4 and they got $2.50 of it and Diamond took the rest, they can now sell that book for $2.50, take 100% of the profits, and they still make the same amount of money that they normally would have made.
Right.
But now as a consumer, I'm spending less. And I got news for you. In this world of collecting, that is a huge deal, because if you are an avid collector, you can sometimes, and I've worked in a comic book store. I have obviously collected comic books. I'll give you, for instance, if you want to collect every Batman book, you are collecting at least 8 books a month just for Batman, not including any one-shots, special issues, things like that. On a monthly basis, you're collecting 8 books at $4 a pop. You're spending $32 on just one character that you like, and that is not including stuff like Justice League that he's appeared in and things like that. So if you want all of that, you're looking at 50, 60, 80. I've seen people spend hundreds of dollars a month on these books. And when things like this happen, whether it be a pandemic or economic downturns or what have you, this is a luxury. And people start saying, okay, I'm going to cut out these 5 books because I can't afford it. I'm going to stick with these 2 or 3 that I really like, and I'm going to cut out the rest. If DC does this and they do it right and they drop the price of their books as a result of it, those people can now spend more money, get more books, and that just helps DC at the end push out more books.
Let me read this quote too, just to add a little clarity, make sure I didn't misrepresent this. This is the quote from a DC spokesperson given to IGN. It says, after 25 years, DC and Diamond comic book distributors are ending their long-standing relationship. Moving forward, comic book retailers can obtain their DC books from Penguin Random House, or their books and periodicals through Lunar or UCS comic book distributors. DC continues to be committed to providing the direct market with best-in-class services for their fans of the world's greatest comic book. So it sounds like they're still using somebody else who's not going through them direct, but I'm sure
sure they're still going to be able to do this at a cheaper price, though.
Right. And I think that they're committed to providing the direct market with best-in-class. I think they're moving towards something that is completely different.
It's been a very huge problem as to how we get these books cheaper for a while.
And I'm sure if you look at the umbrella probably of DC and Warner Brothers and all that, I'm sure Penguin Random House is probably tied in with this. So it is not it's not DC now being a publisher and a distributor. They're still using a distributor, but it's not Diamond anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure Diamond was freaking raking them over the coals. I'm sure they rake everyone over the coals.
I just wanted to provide clarity to the situation. DC is not doing their own distributing.
Yeah, way to screw that up. No, I'm joking. But yeah, if this means I can get a DC book for a cheaper cost, this is a huge deal. It's a huge win, and it won't be long till Marvel follows suit.
Yeah. Josh, I'm not trying to ignore you. Obviously, you are a comic book collector too, and you live in this world. Anything you have to say or to add about this?
Let me add a different perspective. Okay. As of the most recent reports I've found, DC amounts to approximately 33%. So just over a third of the Diamond Comics distribution, where Marvel is about 34.5%. So, but both of these, I mean, obviously, like, and every other company is like small potatoes, right? So DC revoking that business is a big deal. So from my perspective, it's more of like a, what are you gonna do, Marvel type deal. DC's going their own way. Marvel's gonna have to do the same thing, right? Because of obviously DC's weakening the distributor by
Right.
Well, let's call it half of the market, right? Because if each of them owns approximately 33, they're lowering the value by about half. So if that's the case, Marvel has to make a move, or essentially, take sloppy seconds, right? Whatever Diamond has left over. No, I'm serious.
No, I know.
And
Marvel doesn't strike me as a sloppy seconds kind of company.
Right? But DC making this move on their own is kind of a big deal. Not from a collector's perspective, but from a financial perspective, it's a big deal. I'm over here desperately trying to find not only the stock symbol for Diamond Comic Distributors, but also their parent company, because I'm buying the downturn right now. Like,
right.
Financially, I'm investing in their downfall. Because this is huge.
This is going to take out a company.
But the thing is, can they distribute on their own?
DC? I don't know.
Any comic book company. Right?
I think Marvel can, because I'm sure there's some publishing company of Disney. Right? I'm sure Disney owns a publishing company.
In a couple of my errant searches, what keeps coming up is, has Walmart become the de facto landing ground for variant covers of DC Comics, Marvel Comics, so on and so forth? So is there a possibility that they can distribute through a company like Walmart or through Amazon or another company like that, rather than going through someone like Diamond Comic Distributors? I don't know, but it's an interesting question, whether it's financial or otherwise. I mean, certainly I'm not approaching this from a fanboy perspective.
Right.
I'm looking at it as,
that's what I'm here for.
How can I make money? Right.
Yeah.
And look, frankly, there's no play for Diamond Comic Distributors. They're screwed.
Yeah, they lost.
Half their business is gone.
They have to now bend over backwards to keep Marvel, and who knows what that does to their profit margins. And Marvel is now probably looking at DC going, "What are you doing? Was it profitable? Let's do it ourselves." So it's going to be a shakeup to the actual world of, how do I get a comic book? And it sounds like this is a thing that's going to start some competition up, and that should make things better for everybody else.
From a consumer level, I'm still going to walk into my local comic book shop and pick out my books. It's
Correct.
From that comic book owner and the business level. And honestly, I no longer can just go through one distributor, one sales rep, and get all my stuff.
Right.
I may now have to go through 2 or 3 to get the same stock that I had before.
I do want to say this. DC moves more units.
Right now they do, yes.
DC moves about 39% of the units in the market, where Marvel controls a slightly larger financial market share, and my only guess is because
those numbers are
back issues.
Those numbers are a pendulum that go back and forth. You'll see DC doing more in 1 year or a couple year stretch, and then it'll swing back to Marvel.
well, thank you for tuning into the podcast. None of you thought you were going to get.
I was about to say, let me put up the disclaimer I never thought I would have to put on this show. We are not financial experts, and this does not constitute advice into an investment. Go seek professional consulting if you're going to do that. I never thought that kind of nerd would ever have to make that disclaimer.
But here we are.
Here we are. 2020, what have you done? Our next story is also DC related, but doesn't advise you about anything about their stock, so we can feel safe and comfortable with that. DC has announced a virtual Fandome event.
Fandome?
Sorry, Fandome event. My apologies. My brain wanted to read what they actually were trying to say, but here we go.
No, I think they meant Fandome.
Oh, they did. Warner Brothers will be making some big announcements and revealing new content for various DC movie and TV titles, including, and here we go, this is the full scope of what the fuck we're talking about. The Batman, Aquaman, Batwoman, Black Adam, Wonder Woman 1984, Black Lightning, The Flash, Doom Patrol, Harley Quinn, Justice League, Snyder Cut, Pennyworth, Shazam, the Suicide Squad, Lucifer, Superman and Lois, Supergirl, Titans, Teen Titans Go, Watchmen, and Young Justice Outsiders. And fans can expect some big news about DC games and comics as well. Woo!
Sounds like a bunch of stuff that's on DC Universe. What the hell's going on with that?
So the Fandom event will feature 6 different areas that are listed here. They're the Halls of Heroes for panels, news, reveals, and special programs. The Watchverse for screenings of never-before-seen content. The Uverse for fan art and cosplay. Kidverse for younger fans. And Funverse for merchandise.
You know what? I'm curious what the Comic-Con business looks like after all this is over and said and done. Because everybody's doing virtual panels like this.
But we'll see how it goes, because I think you can still incorporate some of that. I don't think necessarily you have to drag everybody into Hall H. I don't think you have to have everybody in the world. When people can't make appearances because they're working on a shoot, I think we'll be more open to remote, viewings and stuff like that. But DC Fandome event is starting August 22nd at 10:30 p.m.
Where can I witness this glorious event?
All online, good sir.
On DC Universe?
Probably not, because
then what is the point of the freaking app?
DCFandome.com. That's where you'll be going on 8/22 to get your all your DC stuff. This is essentially D23, but for DC, right?
But
we'll get. Listen, we'll
no,
get. Well,
tell me.
We're gonna. I'm gonna let you get on the soapbox and bitch about DC Universe in a minute.
No,
come on.
I bitch about it now.
Oh God. Go ahead,
Josh. You're a very business-minded individual. Wouldn't you say that an event like this being exclusively hosted on an app that you own that is completely about this content would probably be a good idea to host it through that app to drive traffic to your app? Like, wouldn't that make sense?
Not only would it be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It seems like DC Universe would be the only place people give a shit about it.
I know!
But so... like, hosting it elsewhere seems dumb, right? It seems like a dilution of the value that people got in subscribing in the first place, but I guess that's why everything from DC Universe is available on HBO Max anyway. Well, I mean, that's really where we're at, right? So when they announce all these things, some big announcements for all of these different properties, like, there's a lot of different properties that are spread between the big screen, the small screen, the shit nobody cares about. Like,
right, DC Universe.
Oh, that's mean. Because I still care. So that's
you're a dick.
Yeah. I don't care as much about the Justice League Snyder Cut, but like other stuff.
Listen, I do agree. This should go on DC Universe, and we should bitch about that. And DC
you mean on
should,
HBO Max?
And DC should be. Was it not Go? It's not HBO Max Plus. I don't know what the fuck it. Anyway, but Brian, to the bigger point of your other question, though, I'm curious what this looks like moving forward. Right? I'm curious if this is something that people actually care about. Like,
people care, but not the amount.
I don't think people care enough to pay.
No. It's people care. But like, fanboys care more, and the fact that the proverbial carpet has been fucking dragged out from under us, the rug has been pulled out from under us, is actually offensive. Like, I get where Brian's coming from. Like, we were early adopters to DC Universe, and we both paid.
Handsomely.
We got no money and totally were selling this for them. We were a sales tool.
Fully rug pulled out from under us, content sold, and it, it kind of sucks. Yeah. Here's what's funny. I had a podcast listener, Jim Cole, sent me a message today like, I need a new DC thing to read. And I said, have you read Nightfall? He said, I'm not sure. I said, it's my favorite DC story arc. Read Nightfall. And then there was one other that I recommend. It doesn't matter. But Nightfall, I said, read Nightfall right now. It's the Bane origin story. It's the whole sort of Bane Batman story arc, the important one. Read that. This, like, DC Universe was a really good venue for discovering that kind of shit. And it's just gone. And so true believers like Brian and I that had this all of a sudden amazing digital venue no longer have it. It's fucking gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Right? I showed Christian how he could read comic books on the big screen, and he was thrilled with it.
Yeah.
Right? Flipping through comic books. You can't, but it's just gone.
Yeah.
It's horseshit.
So,
sorry, Brian, was that what you were going to say?
Well, clearly it's horseshit, but the app's not gone. Am I crazy?
No, the app is not gone, but there's no attention being
the
drawn to
content
it.
is being slowly moved over.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I mean,
the
it's
bullshit part of it.
It's gonna be gone. Is the point?
But,
Yeah,
so,
no,
but
I
what
know.
about this event? So, yes, again, I understand this should be on DC Universe. This should help drive traffic to DC Universe. You could give this event away for free on DC Universe, hoping that people get DC Universe. But DC's not going to do that. DC has
The only people
apparently...
that are gonna see it are the people that would have seen it on DC Universe.
Okay, so it's a small part. I thought it was interesting they were trying to do this. I'm sure we'll get some headlines for it, but I obviously won't be participating live.
It's in no way mainstream.
All right. The next one.
In other news, I am almost to the point where I can start catching up on my DC universe because I am caught up on Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl.
Sweet.
I'm working on Batwoman right now.
So in other news to that, Brian, since you're almost done that queue, HBO Max has Doctor Who. So I'm just saying. But
do they have all like the Christmas specials?
I think
stuff?
they have all of it. I think they've got the rights.
That's fine. I'm using my HBO Max right now to finish up on I gotta finish up on Batwoman.
I'll be checking on your progress.
Gross.
I've got like 7 more episodes of Batwoman. And
What's
then,
the
I'll be good.
point?
Shh. He's slowly giving
I
us
want
the
to give it a
updates.
chance. I gave Black Lightning a season before I gave out on it.
why?
I'll give Batwoman
so
a season.
terrible.
I would like to move out of DC. I want to put the spotlight on Marvel for just a
But
moment.
DC just continues to fuck up. Why can't we keep talking about
because
that?
here's something good for you. Here's something good. You're hopeful, and also maybe a little bit of an "I told you so," but I don't really know. Marvel regains the rights to Daredevil in 6 months.
I told you so. I told
No,
you so.
there's
I
nothing.
told you so.
There's nothing to I told you so.
I
This is
told
just
you
a
so.
fact
I
that
told you
Marvel's
so.
getting the rights back.
I told
That
you
does
so.
not mean that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil.
I gotta
Sure,
tell you,
okay.
if it doesn't mean that, there's a real fucking problem.
Like, it doesn't mean that.
And if
Again,
they don't continue,
they sold.
Punisher on the wings of that,
They
it's a real
sold
problem.
all the props and costumes, right? The props and costumes from these shows are gone.
I mean, you can build props and costumes.
Yeah, seriously. Like, come on, man.
I'm telling you guys, there is a hashtag.
Can I just say, Charlie Cox has already been in an HBO show
Yes, he was
and
in
had
Boardwalk Empire.
had a prominent role.
Yes, and then
So
and then the show died. They sold the props, the costumes, and it's not coming back, right?
I'm saying he's sort of an HBO darling. Why wouldn't they want him in an HBO?
It wouldn't be in an
Because
HBO.
it's Marvel getting the rights
Marvel.
back has nothing to do with HBO.
It would be Disney Plus or it would be Hulu.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure when we talked about this, I said they'll
would be
bring
a
these
Hulu.
properties over to Hulu.
Right.
So even if that's the only true thing, I am at least half right, and I told you so.
Why wouldn't they lease it out?
Because it's Disney.
No, they're
Disney's
not.
giving away their IP.
Disney's not giving that property
No
to Warner
way.
Brothers. You kidding?
I think Marvel.
No
I
freaking
think
way.
they've learned that holding on to the Marvel properties is important. That's why they bought Fox.
Yeah, that's why they bought Fox, and
Like,
that's why they're
not giving this away.
You guys aren't helping any of my stocks right now.
Warner Brothers, and DC. If Warner Brothers has their competition, DC. There's no way they're partnering with them in any way, shape, or form.
Boo!
No way. This has to be Marvel, and so it has to be Hulu.
Give me more. All right, fine. Give me more Daredevil. I'd rather if it wasn't on Hulu, but if that's the only way it can be TVMA, then fine.
There is a Save Daredevil campaign that has racked over 355,000 signatures in hope of just getting the series restarted. This was Netflix's big thing. There are rumors that Charlie Cox is appearing on the set or was appearing on the set of the newest Spider-Man movie, and that Mysterio may be playing a role in bringing back, Daredevil. But again, those are all rumors and conjecture. So who knows?
Totally just rumors, conjectures.
It's not, guys. I really.
How do I get?
Guy.
How do I get more Punisher? How do I get more Punisher?
What do I get when I'm right?
It's not happening. You're not.
What do I get?
You're getting more Punisher. It's not John
What do I
Barenthal.
get? What do I get when I'm right?
I will leave this Doctor Who bullshit alone. So it's probably not going to happen. So there's nothing. There's no prize. You win nothing, sir. I said good day. I said good day.
I have no bet.
No bet.
If this wasn't such an ambiguous topic, I would so slap bet you again. But there's just too many what ifs involved.
Right, exactly. I'm not doing
that. I can't slap bet.
I am willing to go on record saying that the Netflix Marvel shows that we all know, all loved, and that we knew, those shows are dead, right? And Charlie Cox and John Barenthal and those characters and the way in which they were portrayed in Netflix is over, and we're not getting them back.
I'm gonna say I don't like you.
I'm going to second that.
It's fine. They're over. I'm sorry. Even if they come back, even if they get them to come back, you're not getting the same dark and gritty shit you got on Netflix.
But that was not my point months ago.
I know it's not. I'm saying even if they came back, even if the world worked out for you.
My point was that we would get Charlie Cox back as Daredevil again.
Not happening. I'm sorry.
And when I'm right, I will gloat because that's all I can do.
I mean, listen, we already got one person who was in a previous MCU to come back and reprise the role. We already got one with J.K. Simmons. We're not getting another. It's just not happening.
Buddy. You just keep hanging on that.
All right, let's turn our attention.
How
now.
many times do I need to be right about this shit until you start trusting me?
You're not right about this.
How many times do we have to talk about something and I end up being right?
I want you to be right about this, okay? I do want you to be right. I miss those shows. I miss the portrayals. John Barenthal was amazing. Charlie Cox was great. The other people were also in television shows. I thought that stuff was fun to watch. I would love to continue that story and see where they're going. Maybe not so much with Iron Fist, but it's not going to happen. And it sucks.
You don't think that knowing, because if I'm working in Marvel, I know exactly how many clicks and streams Daredevil got. Right. And it was enough to get 3 seasons. You don't think I'm going to replicate that success as soon as I get the rights to my character back? They already had plans to do a whole suite of Marvel shows on Hulu.
Yes.
And serious Marvel shows, like demonic Marvel shows. Like Hellstrom is still happening, by the way.
Right.
Ghost Rider probably not, but Hellstrom is.
Right.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I just replicate that success? I'm not saying it's going to be the same storyline, but I'm saying I'm going to do something with this property, and I'm probably going to try and get Charlie Cox to do it.
The only thing that you're going to get, if you're lucky, is Charlie Cox returning, but nothing from that Netflix stuff was attached to it at all.
That is all I need
right now. That's fine.
That is my point, is that I will get Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. If Matt Murdock shows up as a lawyer in the new Spider-Man movie, that counts too.
Yep.
That counts too.
If it's Charlie Cox playing that character.
If it's Charlie Cox.
Yep. I will count that. Yeah.
Listen, my man.
Enjoy your cameo.
Listen. If I'm Kevin Feige and I truly want to melt, and listen, they have this entire plan of you will start seeing television crossover with movies. That's why we're seeing the Disney Plus shows are going to be very integrated into this universe. If I want to do that, and I already have 4 successful Netflix properties, and at the very least, successful enough for all of them to get a second season, and 2 of them very successful to get 3rd seasons.
3
you don't
them,
think
right?
No, only 2 of them got
I
3
thought Jessica
seasons.
Jones had it, Punisher, and
Punisher only had 2 seasons.
oh, okay, all right, cool, never mind.
You don't think I'm just going to go ahead and say the work is done.
Yeah,
All I got to do is hire these people back. And the way I'm going to introduce it is my biggest property, which is Spider-Man at this moment. And I'll just slide them right in. And you know who works with Spider-Man all the time? Daredevil. Why wouldn't I just use that as the springboard to say, hey, we got Charlie Cox back. Now we're going to launch this show on Hulu.
Just look at if we're at the theater, seeing the next Spider-Man, and there's a possibility that Matt Murdock shows up as a lawyer, I'm requesting you bring blankets to shield children from seeing me masturbate. Is really just the long and short of it. Because that's what's going to happen. If Charlie Cox shows up as Matt Murdock in a Spider-Man property.
I have a legitimate question. Do you really want me keeping that in the show?
Oh, yeah. And please bring your blanket to the theater just in case.
I'm leaving this section in of me asking you, so later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really...
My name is Josh Burns, and I endorse this message.
I've got nothing to hide at this point.
I'm just making sure.
Absolutely.
All right. I would like to move off of the world of comics and move our attention to the world of small screens and big screens, of all screens, but in a segment that we call Screen to Stream.
There's a thing here that a dolphin looks like a person.
So this is just a thing. I was a kid of the 90s.
Oh, Animorphs. I had all of those books, man.
One of the biggest book series was Animorphs. It even was a show. It was even a short-lived show on, I think, Fox Kids, if I remember correctly, on Fox.
Something like that. It only lasted like 2 or 3 episodes. I had the VHS tapes.
2 or 3 episodes. It was not good, but I still loved it and watched it. Animorphs is a beloved 90s book series, and they're going to be getting a movie. I think it's awesome. We don't know what else is happening. I just wanted to include that in there. I've got 3 trailers that have come out in the last 2 weeks here in the nerdy world, and I definitely want to go ahead and kind of give them some highlights. The first trailer is for a new Netflix series called Cursed, and I'm getting some very Witcher-like vibes from the show, but it seems like I'm actually interested in it, unlike that of Witcher. What did you guys think about the trailer?
That's not the vibes I'm getting at all.
Look, I mean, from a Frank Miller created series, it looks fantastic.
It does look good, but the vibes I'm getting are a bunch of Netflix execs sat in a room and said,
Yep.
You know who everybody likes? Daenerys Targaryen. Let's make a whole series about Daenerys Targaryen.
Almost like we're going to make King Arthur a woman, which is fine. No, there's
anything wrong with that.
anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right? But man, was that a good trailer?
It was a really good trailer.
It was a really good trailer. So we got 10 episodes upcoming. Starting when?
Did they give a date? Hold on, I think I just had it. July 17th. So
there you go. So
now.
I mean, starting next month.
Not now, July.
Sorry, July, not June.
Yeah.
Get
But
your
I
shit
mean,
together, CJ.
it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it looks really
From
solid.
the trailer.
Yes. Again, Netflix notorious for great trailers, shitty movies. But this is a series, and I'm a little bit...
That's not true.
Really? Six Underground looked like a really good trailer. Really
I haven't watched
movie.
Six Underground yet, but I did watch...
All right. But we could say, like, Frank Miller, right? We could say Frank Miller.
Yes.
Good stuff, right?
Good stuff, yes.
Most of the
Also,
time, yes.
I mean, Tom Wheeler, Empire on TV, pretty popular. Puss in Boots, pretty popular. Lego Ninjago, I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
From the creator of Lego Ninjago.
No, listen. There's no there's no need to put a lot of pomp and circumstance into this. This is a good trailer that on its own looks like a compelling show that I would totally want to watch.
I'm gonna give it a shot. We'll see.
The next one is a Hulu original movie called Palm Springs, starring Andy Samberg and I don't know her name, but she was the mom in How I Met Your Mother.
Kristen Milioti.
Thank you. There we go.
This looks fun.
This is like Groundhog's Day, but I mean, listen, you can't deny the Groundhog's Dayness of this movie. However, I think they lean into it and they do a really cool
The
job
time
with it.
loop thing is being done to death for like this is like the 4th or 5th thing I've seen with the time loop. So like
besides Groundhog's Day, Happy Death Day to You, what else have you watched recently that includes a never-ending loop of days?
Russian Doll.
Russian Doll.
Who cares? It has Andy Samberg. Pass.
Hold on, can we please address the past just based off Andy Samberg?
Yeah, he's terrible. Pass.
Now, have you watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine? No, you haven't,
because Andy Samberg. Pass.
Gosh.
Look, unless
Watch
he's
Brooklyn
in a
Nine-Nine.
music video talking about how he's on a boat, I don't really want to see it.
Oh, I like this. I think it looks.
But have you seen the music video of him talking about having sex?
I have.
What about
and
the
I
one
thought
with him and
Akon
Michael
was
Bolton?
especially good.
What about the
And
one with him and
also
Michael Bolton?
the pirate thing with Michael Bolton.
Right.
Also good. But unless we're talking about The Lonely Island, I don't want to see anything from Andy Samberg ever.
Oh.
Not ever.
What about Hot Rod? Hot Rod's a good movie.
Fuck Hot Rod. No, sorry.
Oh, Hot Rod's fun.
Hard pass on Hot
I
Rod.
disagree with you on Paul. Yeah, sorry.
Listen, anyway.
As a matter of fact, I have
So-
hard passed on Hot Rod. I've never seen Hot Rod.
So now
I think Andy Samberg has grown as a performer, and I think you would enjoy him now.
Dude,
Yes.
look, I watched Never Stopping or whatever that shit
Yeah,
Pop
was.
star
I
never
didn't see
stopped,
that.
never stopping. Yes,
Holy fucking shit, was that terrible?
yes, it was.
So no,
He
I'm
has
good. I'm good on
All
Andy
right.
Samberg forever.
He's evolved.
Nope.
I think he's learned a lot in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and
He hasn't.
I think that this trailer looks really good.
And his
It looks really
co-star should tell you that he has not evolved.
I think the co-star tells me Hulu already paid the money for Andy Samberg, and they went with somebody else that at least had some kind of recognition.
Someone else who really has done nothing ever.
Nothing, but hold on. She was in that. Never mind. She was in that episode. She was in that episode of the Apple
She
TV.
was in an episode of a thing on a thing, and she's never starred in anything.
No, she's
ever.
never started anything ever. Yep,
Pass.
I think she's
but
wonderful.
I think she's fine. I think she's good.
Pass.
She's good for this role.
Can we now take the naysayer out? And Brian, can you please express your opinion on this
I'm
trailer?
requesting you bring blankets so I could just tie him up to a chair and force him to watch this. What the hell? I think Andy Samberg has become a great comedic / dramatic actor.
You
I
said
think he's
great.
become a good, great.
I think he's been. I think. Listen, I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of the best comedies on television right now, outside of Rick and Morty. I think Andy Samberg is definitely the person who drives that show, and I haven't seen a movie with him in a while. I think this looks fun. It looks fun. It takes this trope that has been being done to death, and it puts a new spin on it. It puts this fun romantic comedy spin on it. And if I'm casting a romantic comedy, someone like Christine Milioti is exactly what I want. I don't need anybody but someone who is funny and cute and likable. And she is just super likable. Does that help?
The gentleman from Pennsylvania has now yielded his time, and we're adjourned on this matter.
This film is exactly 90 minutes.
That's fine. It's a Hulu original, dude. You're not going to the movies. You're not paying for it. There's no passes. You already got it. Just watch the damn movie.
J.K. Simmons might be its only saving grace.
J.K. Simmons, always fantastic to have him.
Also, Tyler Hoechlin, who plays Superman in the DC shows.
Oh,
is on
that
this.
was him.
That was him. He's marrying Cami Mendez.
Okay. So, I want to turn our attention then to the biggest trailer
Also,
that
I
dropped.
saw Peter Gallagher on there too, I think.
By the director of Exactly Nothing.
I want to talk, though, about...
Everybody's got to start somewhere, Joshua.
I want to talk about the biggest trailer that dropped in the last couple weeks, and that is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter returning to reprise their role as Bill and Ted. Josh, I think you had like one of the best comments about this trailer and about this movie, and I definitely wanted the world to know about it.
Well, it was really, and you know what? It was brought on by watching Johnny Mnemonic, which wasn't long after Bill and Ted, right? But it's that Keanu Reeves was a really, really, really fucking bad actor, and now you watch his trailer, and he's pretending to be a bad actor, which is equally as bad. And I'm just
He's
kind
a
of
good actor who has to pretend pretend to be
That's
bad.
right.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly
Because he's gotten there, right? Like Keanu Reeves at this point, you're like, you know what? I could watch basically anything with Keanu Reeves because he's legit. Like he's a legit dude.
Yeah.
But he's now in this right reprising this role, and you're watching him trying to be very robotically bad. And you're like, I'll accept it. It's fine.
His voice sounds off to me too, because he's trying to do the California thing, but he hasn't done that in like over 30 years.
Right, he's lost.
So he doesn't have it, and now it just sounds like he's tired and old, and he smoked for a little bit. Party on, everybody!
Yeah, and it's weird.
dude.
It's weird seeing him without the beard.
I don't mind it without the beard,
right.
although I agree,
No, it's weird.
More beard would be much more
he
preferred.
he does look odd. I'm not gonna lie.
He looks old without the beard.
I was going to say, there's the whole thing of Keanu Reeves as a vampire doesn't age, and I saw him in this trailer. I was like, Keanu Reeves getting on in the years, man.
Well, I'm watching it going, wait, did they CGI age him?
They might have. You never know.
I don't think. I don't think the
because
budget
he doesn't look that old normally.
He doesn't. Alex Winter does, but I mean, I don't know.
They might have.
You know, I
him
really
up just to
prefer
keep him up with
Alex Winter in Lost Boys as a vampire. Like that's my favorite Alex Winter role.
I'm still in. I still think this movie looks great. I mean, I'm there for it.
I'm wearing a Bill and Ted shirt right now, and I'm over here completely a toss-up as to whether I'll even bother.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. Wearing a shirt.
Yep. Wearing the merch. Not really sure.
I don't know.
And Brian, to answer your question, how are you going to find it? It will be a perplexing way for you to figure out how to watch Bill and Ted.
I'm sure I'll be perplexed on how to watch this.
Quick, brief update on the fact of movies don't exist right now in theaters. Tenet has gotten a pushback. Oh, gosh. It was initially supposed to open July 17th. Not happening. They pushed it to July 31st.
No, that's odd, because I just got an email from AMC saying that they'll be opening on July 17th, and they have all sorts of precautions in place.
I'm not going. I don't care what precautions they have. Look, Pennsylvania, folks, is about to open, and I'm over here battening down the hatches.
No way.
Like, I'm not going. There will be no Burns family in public.
Yep.
They should just release these movies direct to iTunes. Look,
there's no way Chris Nolan's ever going to do that.
CJ, I'll pay $100.
Chris Nolan will not let you and I'm saying you, the collective, right? The collective people watch his movies with motion smoothing on on their televisions. There's no way. If he could start the movie with, I would like you to just email me or make a model of your TV so I can properly calibrate it for you so I can do that. Almost like Tom Cruise is doing for Top Gun.
He's a very technical director. He's never going
way.
Look, I'm never going to take my family to the theater. I'm not going to go.
I agree. I'm with you. I'm canceling my stubs, my A-list. I mean, because they're opening back up and they're going to start charging me again. I'm not going, so I'm canceling A-list. I'm not paying for a month. I'm not using it. So there goes that. Wonder Woman 1984 was originally slated to open on June 5th. It has now been pushed back to October 2nd. So it went from June 5th, actually was supposed to go then to August 14th, and is now pushed all the way back to October. Guys, I have a feeling Tenet's going to be delayed again as well. It's not going well for the movie theaters opening. We've talked about this a couple weeks ago about what's going on with the movie and theater industry. I don't trust Carmike, listen to me, Regal, AMC, any of the other big chains to get this ready and get this right and make this a good experience. I also don't trust my fellow people right now to, not eat, after you're done eating your popcorn, put your mask back on. So it's not happening. I'm not going to a movie. I don't think you release Tenet in my home. It's not made for that. I want to see it on a big screen. Go ahead and release Wonder Woman, but that would suck. But I'm seeing Tenet in a movie theater. I just don't know when, and I don't know how.
Drive-in. I'm going to the drive-in.
But a drive-in, I want an IMAX.
I know you're not going to get the same experience.
Just me in an IMAX theater. That'd be fine.
Let's rent it out a whole theater. Is that what you're saying?
Just me.
Okay.
I didn't say you.
Okay. You're not going to let me in there. Gotcha. Because I would bring my own blankets for Tenet if it was just
I'm saying
just three of us.
I don't want no exposure to the public. Just me.
It is now time for my favorite hobby, is where I go around the internet, I find the weird, and I find the obscure, and I ask these two gentlemen here for their tech perspective. And speaking of Keanu Reeves is auctioning off a 15-minute Zoom call with him for charity.
15 minutes? I can't get I can't get enough time. That's not enough
You
time.
you know as well as I do, you could talk the entire 15 minutes, and afterwards he would go, "That was very insightful, and I appreciate you just spending the energy to give that to me, and you're loved and appreciated." And you would be like, "Great, thank you. This is the most productive conversation I've ever had in my life."
It's just like, is that, I don't know if it was Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, and he's like, Keanu, what happens when we die?
Oh yeah.
Keanu Reeves, he goes, I know the ones that love us will miss us. And you're like, fuck. Well, that's right.
Yep. So he's working with an organization to provide emotionally empowering experiences to children diagnosed with cancer and their families. He's offering the 15-minute Zoom call to the highest bidder. At the time of the reporting of this, it already hit $16,700 on it.
Wow.
I'm sure it's gone up. The auction began on the 16th and it's going until the 22nd. Man, this is going to be an insane thing to look at and to watch, and it's going to be a hell lot more than $1,600 to get the Zoom call.
I'm hoping it's not some dude that just touches himself for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but what's the person who wins the auction going to do? So if you got some money to throw around, time to get yourself some FaceTime with Keanu. I finally made a joke. All right, and finally, I can't let this show go without addressing one thing.
What?
Well, it's where we, the three of us, take a look at a product, a topic, an idea, and we think it over. And we give it the third degree in a segment that we call the nerd degree. And Josh Burns, I'm kicking this over to you. Because you sent me a Kickstarter for something called the Butter Hub.
Butter Hub.
And then you sent me the confirmation that you have contributed to this Kickstarter.
Yes.
What in Sam Hell did you make me watch?
Well, I'll say this. Listeners, if you watch the video associated with the Butter Hub Kickstarter, you'll see a lot about white people fumbling around with butter dishes.
Yes, those people are dumb.
Well, I mean, you'll have to take that up with Laura Burns because I spent a lot of time watching her fumble around with a butter dish. We have, we have, I swear to God, she has turned to me and said, why is the lid to this butter dish so heavy? Why can't...
I mean, that's true. That's a serious
If
problem.
only there was a better way.
Why is this butter dish so... Why is the... It's always messy. If I put the lid on the table, it's messy.
Can't believe you're checking every box that this thing solves.
Listen. I watched this video, right? And the lid has little feet on it, so it doesn't get the table messy. And it has a magnetic thing on the top that holds the butter knife, and it's light enough that you can carry it with one hand. And it has ramps on either end, so that when you cut the butter, you can scrape up, and you're not dragging a whole bunch of butter with you.
That's fantastic.
This is a big deal. The ramps are a big deal.
This is the foldy made of butter.
No. Don't you drag the Foldy Made into this.
It's the foldy made of butter. I'm liking everything I'm hearing.
Let me illustrate a little bit further. They had a goal of $1,000 to get this launched. They've gotten $149,000 out of almost 6,000 backers. I'm one of them. I'm anxiously awaiting my Butter Hub. I can't wait.
This is the second time, and I don't know when the first time. I'm trying to look it up right now. This is the second time we've had a butter contraption on this show.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
What was the other butter contraption?
It was like a sprayer.
It was a sprayer. It was a spritzer.
Hold on. I just put butter into thatkindofnerd.com to search it, right? 3 results have come up. One of them is called A Lot of Smooching and Butter, episode 202. Episode 47, Drones, Pizza, and Butter? And then apparently something with canned wine 2 Electric Boogaloo had to do with butter.
One of those episodes is me talking about my popcorn butter proclivities.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm assuming I think it's drone pizza and butter. I'm looking through the show notes right now.
Look, here's the thing.
Why is this a thing?
Look,
because it's clearly a problem and it needs to be solved.
Every house needs room temperature butter. You have to have it at the ready.
Absolutely.
Must have it. And the problem
Gotta have it.
the problem with most butter dishes is if you watch this video, and I can attest, white people can't handle butter dishes with one hand. The top is not only unwieldy, but it's very heavy.
This is
Very
not true at
messy.
all.
It is
Absolutely
I
true.
look. I can attest. To
I
this.
just
have
washed
a butter
my butter dish
Hold on.
for like the 6th time.
So I just found the episode. So it is episode 47, right? Which is drones,
47. It's 200 episodes.
episodes.
ago.
drones, pizza, and butter. Literally 200 episodes from the last time that we talked about a butter gadget called the Beam Butter Sprayer, right? They're already on a second version of this. You don't own this. Why was this the time to go ahead and buy a butter contraption?
Listen, I am sick of dealing with this heavy, super heavy butter dish. I'm just done with it.
gotta
you know what I'm
stop.
done with? I'm done when there's only 2 or 3 tablespoons of the butter left, and I go to take a little bit and I drag the rest of it with me. If I had a ramp, I wouldn't have
Ramps
that
are
fucking
good.
problem.
Ramps are the best.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Tony Hawk has a little vert half
Yes,
pipe.
that's what, in your butter dish, and then
In
it's
my
on
butter
the
dish.
lid too. Is like an inverted,
And
right?
that's right. And my knife has a magnetic little home base and it sticks on there, and I don't have to worry about carrying it because it's light enough. And God forbid there should be some shifting
Right.
where some of the butter gets on like the sides of the thing.
Uh-huh.
When I take the lid of the butter dish and I put it on the table, it's got feet. So the butter never gets on the table.
Now-
There's no mess.
Gotta have the feet.
Gotta have the feet.
respect. You gotta have the feet. So this comes in 4 colors, right? So which color did you pick?
I ordered a gray one.
Because it looks like it's translucent, white, gray, and black.
I didn't want clear
Right.
because who wants to see inside?
Who wants to see
Don't
their
need
butter?
to see
know
the
how much butter
butter.
you have.
It's too much
Not-
going on in there. No,
Too-
thank you.
This
That's
is not an
right.
Adam Sandler bit. You shut your mouth.
I went gray just because it'll stand out.
Very modern. I like it.
Stop encouraging him. You're not putting your money where your mouth is on this
Sleeping
one.
pills, my only friend.
It's got rubber feet. It's so dumb.
No, it's not dumb.
Best thing since the Foldy Mate. Sign me
no.
up.
No. You do not get to say best thing since the Foldy Mate.
Where's
This is-
the pledge? Gonna pledge it.
Are you really?
How much?
It's $16 for one.
$16.
$16. Best $16 I ever spent.
Really?
Here we go.
Look at the gray one. It's matte gray. It looks so nice.
I have Josh's confirmation that he backed this thing. I want to see yours, Brian. I don't believe you.
I gotta tell you, if you scroll down, you can see how easily you scoop the butter off the ranch.
It's just so fucking dumb. The other part is, look at when they talk about how other dishes will sometimes get butter on it.
Yeah.
They apparently live with people who are just like completely fine with fucking
Trolls.
butter
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's who I live with. I live with 3 trolls
It's
who
ridiculous.
are fine
I've never-
with butter
the other
on
part, too, is
every surface of everything.
They cut the perfect slice of butter, right, on the traditional. I mean, it is like
Can't pledge it anymore. It's over.
no, that it's limited backers. 270 backers. It's available now, isn't it?
Won't let me pledge.
I'll go get an extra one and send it.
And then the person's like,
Appreciate it,
"Oh, I'm
Josh.
only able to use the knife," but the person using this butter hub is using their hands. You could just pick up the piece of butter.
No, you can't just pick up.
You could just.
What are you, a Neanderthal?
Why would you touch the butter?
Just if you got
Then
the
it's all
perfect
over your
slice.
hands.
Then you gotta wash
And then
your
they're
hands.
They're trying to put it away. They're like, "Oh God!
Here's
oh
the thing:
no!"
the butter dish in my house is such a mess that people just open the butter and put it there, and they take what they need and they leave it on the counter, and then the fucking dog eats the butter. Then I got to deal with that.
I
Can't
also-
have the
here-
dog eating butter.
Here's
Can't
the
have
thing.
the dog eating butter.
Here's
No
the thing.
way.
Here's the thing. I
Gives them
learned.
diarrhea. Can't have it.
The thing I learned. There's something called an East Coast side stick of butter and a West Coast side stick of butter.
What are you
Apparently,
talking about?
you haven't seen this. Because Josh, one of the things of the butter hub is that it fits East Coast and West Coast butter sizes, which is apparently a fucking thing.
Multifaceted butter
what are
hub.
these West Coasters doing
Just,
with their butter?
I don't know, but an East Coast looks like a normal stick of butter, and a West Coast is like, oh, a slab of cheese.
I want you to watch what happens when people without a butter hub try to scoop.
Yes. They're fucking idiots, apparently.
They can't get the butter.
They just
But with the ramp, you easily scoop the butter.
They're cleaning off the knife, and they're just like, I don't know, spread it on the side. I don't care.
Bam Margera will be proud. Gotta have those ramps.
Ridiculous. Anyway, it's a ridiculous thing, and I figured we should end our life on ridiculousness. Brian, I don't see any kind of a confirmation here. I'm assuming
I can't pledge it. It won't let me pledge.
I'm logging in. I'm creating my own Kickstarter just to call you a liar.
If that's the case, I'll try it again.
No, I'm logging in.
I can't wait. It's dishwasher safe. Oh, I see the West Coast size. What are they doing?
I have no idea.
Less butter.
What is this?
Less butter.
Well, it looks taller than it does.
Okay. All right. So it's taller.
So Josh, as is custom, we have the same scale that we use every single time that we do the nerd degree.
Yep.
Where do we put this on the scale?
On our standard unit of measure.
Yep.
This is a clip-on tie. This is a clip-on tie in our standard unit of measure. It goes on easily. It stays there all day.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, it'll get worn out, and then you'll buy another clip-on tie. But what'll never happen is someone will never grab you by it and drag you across the playground because it's a clip-on.
I agree this is a clip-on tie, but in the sense of learn how to fucking tie a tie and be a man and not wear a clip-on.
I know how to tie a tie. I can do a four in hand. I can do a half Windsor, a full Windsor.
I'm not in the 6th grade where I did wear a clip-on tie, right? Once I got to a high school age, I could do my own goddamn tie.
Here's the thing. I look, and I agree with you in the tying of the tie. And I could have a fancy china butter dish, but the 3 Neanderthals I live with would fucking ruin it.
You should have
this thing.
Sit down and figure out that. John, Brian, on the normal scale that we do every single week, where is this for you?
I think this is a tie clip. Holds everything together, makes me feel fancy. I like it.
It's totally ridiculous. And I've seen your tie clips.
My tie clips are fun. One's just a Lego piece. It's great.
Listeners, this is why we love you, because you stick around for shit just like this. I want to thank you, everyone, for their understanding of the fact that we're going to this bi-weekly schedule. Hopefully, we've made up for it with some of these topics here. We definitely want to hear from you. I have to know about the Butter Hub. This cannot be just a Burns household issue. Obviously, thousands of people backing this. I got to know more. So find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Tell us what you think. Or you can text us at 484-373-4119. I want to thank you so much for making us whatever it is that we are to you during these times. And we will talk to you in 2 weeks.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
Don't talk shit on TikTok, CJ.
I said I gotta get me a TikTok.
You do.
Yeah, I don't have one.
It's a lot of fun. It's taken me months to get people on TikTok.
I was on it and then just dropped right off. I just got the name. I just got my name and then I left.
Months to get people on TikTok.
That's because older people.
What? It took me months to get Brian and Trick on TikTok.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
I stand by
That's
my
true.
statement.
Took me. Whoa! What are you trying to say here, champ?
Brian is a 40-year-old man in the body of a 30-year-old man. If you don't believe me,
Point of order. I am now a 40-year-old man.
I'm well aware.
Official.
Yeah, like officially a 40-year-old man. So you can't
I'm
just
aware.
throw that out there anymore. Also, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who happens to be older than I, and his assertion is that 40 isn't old anymore, and here's why.
Because you're 40 and you don't want to be old?
No. He's actually he's a few years older than I am, and he puts people that are sort of 35 to 50 in the same category, and the reasoning he gave me is when we were kids, popular culture really then was the same as it is now. And he gave me a couple examples, which I super agreed with. He said, you were in your early 20s, Fast and Furious came out. If there's a new Fast and Furious, people flood to the theaters, right? And I said, well, yeah. He said, Mission Impossible? I said, yeah. He goes, Bad Boys for Life. And I go, oh, that's a good point. I didn't see it, but yeah, people saw it. We were the first generation really to harness technology, social media, the internet, cell phones, and therefore, apparently, this older generation that I still don't think I'm a part of relates to the younger people because of all those things.
The man speaks the truth.
I'm 80% there. It's the extra 20 that I'm not there with. However, 80 means it passes, so it passes.
I pass.
Bees get degrees. Anyway,
Did you say bees get degrees?
bees do get degrees.
Oh, all right.
Technically, they do. If C's get degrees, then bees by the transitive property also get degrees.
So facto.
But that's just saying A's get degrees. I mean, yes, it's a true
Anything
statement.
above a C gets
It
a
does,
degree.
Like,
but
by
just
default.
like that's not how you're gonna.
Am I wrong?
That's not how you sell.
Am I wrong?
That's
I
not
don't
the
think
spirit.
you're wrong, no.
That's
I'm
not the spirit
wrong.
behind
it's
the
a true
saying.
statement. It's a true statement. Just like there are at least 2 buttons behind you. There are many more,
Right.
but there's at least 2.
Okay.
I gotta go handle a Quibi. I'll be back.